There is a moment when love becomes more than longing. It becomes union. In the fifth mansion, the soul doesn't just follow God, it meets him. Saint Teresa of Ávila compares this stage of the spiritual journey to something beautiful and intimate, a mystical betrothal, but not like any human relationship. Here, the soul is drawn into a deep, hidden unity with God, a kind of spiritual marriage that begins with silence, awe, and surrender. If the fourth mansion was about God beginning to act within the soul, the fifth is about God claiming it, not by force, but by love. This mansion is no longer about effort. The soul does not reach this place by doing more, praying harder, or being more perfect. It gets here by letting go, by dying to self so that it may live in God. Saint Teresa says that this stage is marked by the prayer of union. It's not something the soul can manufacture. It's not a technique. It's a pure gift. A moment, brief or long, when God completely takes hold of the soul and fills it with himself. During this prayer, the soul cannot speak, think, or move freely. It is caught up, still conscious, but completely immersed in God's presence. She says it's like a silkworm weaving its cocoon, and inside that cocoon, something incredible happens. The worm dies, and a butterfly is born. The old self, full of striving, attachments, distractions, dies in the cocoon of God's embrace. And what emerges is something new, free, light, capable of soaring toward God. In this mystical union, the soul no longer seeks the things of God, it desires only God himself, not for what he gives, but for who he is. It is here that love becomes pure, not sentimental, not based on feelings, but rooted in truth, the truth that God loves and calls and transforms. And yet, this union is still hidden. It's not flashy. The soul may not feel anything extraordinary. There may be no visions, no ecstasies, no miracles, but deep inside, something has changed forever. The soul becomes more detached from the world, not in a cold or distant way, but in freedom. It no longer clings to approval, success, or even spiritual experiences. It wants only to please the beloved. And this is where things get paradoxical. The closer the soul comes to God, the more it sees its unworthiness, the more it recognizes its smallness, its poverty, and yet, it feels more loved than ever. This humility is not self-hate. It's not shame. It's the clear, peaceful realization that everything good is from him and all we are is a gift. In this mansion, suffering may still exist. The soul may still face trials, dryness, even persecution. But now, it suffers with God. And that changes everything. It no longer asks, "Why is this happening?" But rather, "How can I love you in this?" The soul now desires to serve, not because of obligation, but because love cannot stay still. It must give, it must act. And yet, the deepest work still happens in silence. God begins to transform the soul more profoundly than words can describe. Teresa insists that this is still not the final stage. There are deeper mansions to come, more burning, more union, more surrender. But here, the soul begins to realize something sacred. It is no longer alone, not ever again. God now lives and moves within it in a way that changes everything, how it sees the world, how it prays, how it loves. And that presence is quiet, but constant. It's the whisper in the darkness, the strength in weakness, the joy that cannot be stolen. This is not the destination, but it is the turning point. The soul is now no longer its own. It belongs to God, and all it can say, in the silence of that union, is, "Let it be done to me according to your will."